Good morning, my name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to do a weekly video on the energies collectively and what is occurring around us. As with all videos, they are guidance. Take what is relevant and let go of what isn't, unless you are triggered in particular this week. And what I really feel is an opportunity to look at what causes a spark within you and why. I can hear the phrase knee-jerk reaction, and many of us are triggered. Many of us receive certain reactions to certain things, and being the Aries new moon today, I think it was about 2 o'clock this morning in particular, it feels like an opportunity to balance what is merely a trigger and what to act upon. So really looking at why things spark you, the emphasis being behind why. So today I feel drawn to use 2 packs of cards to look at the energies. 1, to look at the energies, and 2, how to best navigate them. So again, looking at that, what is coming up, why it's coming up, and how best to utilize this spark for the greater good of ourselves and each other. So today everything goes back to business in the UK. The shops open, the gyms open, the hairdressers open. And my home is my home. It is empty apart from myself and my animals, which has really opened space for some potential to come through. And nothing has yet, and that's okay. At first it felt like a little bit of an anticlimax. You know, that suddenly my life was going to change the moment this freedom was gifted back. And it hasn't, of course it hasn't, because that's merely the energy underneath it. What we do with it is up to us. So an example, I was going to say an analogy, but an example for the energies this week. Yesterday I placed some jacket potatoes in the oven, and my husband said to me, they cook quicker with spoons in. So I placed spoons in them. And when it came to them being ready, when it came to that door opening and actually receiving what I needed to continue nourishing my needs, I forgot the environment they were in. I completely forgot that they were in an oven and saw a spoon, and my mind said, grab the spoon, which is what I did. And obviously, as you can totally understand, the heat had been conducted through the spoon and the spoon was boiling hot. So I now have almost a brand on my hand. And for me, everything is an insight, everything is a message. So this silver spoon that I placed in center of the spud to make it cook quicker actually left a mark across my hand, across my headline, my psychic curve, which is quite prominent in my right hand, and also across my relationship status on my hand. So there are many books out there if you want to look up representations of the hand lines and particular fingers in relation to the planets and everything else. But I even burnt a finger related to Aries. So real deep insight there. It's my right hand, which is what I would work with. I'm right-handed. So for me, the left is what I've been given and the right is what I do with it. So to be given this silver spoon, this opportunity, this conductor of energy, which is our body, which is insight, which is anything that triggers us, which is our environment. And then to almost forget or disrespect the bigger container, the oven, and completely forget that and come from a logical space in my mind, I actually now have almost the letter E, which is my mother's name, Eve, branded across my hand, across my mind, across my psychic curve and mound, and across my relationships. So what I'm really picking up this week in particular is to be mindful of the environment still. Yes, the door is open. Yes, things are ready to take, to enjoy, to nourish us with, but don't forget the environment that we're in. We are still in the middle of a new reality being created. With this Aries new moon, look at what you're feeling and why before you jump in and grab what it is you think you need. Okay, because that can really impact what it is you manifest, where you are actually coming from, how it affects your relationships with yourself and with others, and your intuition this week in particular. So on the radio, I could hear back to business, back to business, back to business. And in my mind, what I could actually hear was back to basics, back to basics, back to basics. In order to rebuild a new reality, whether we like it or not, this is what we are living with now, a new way of being. In order to do that, we need foundations, the foundations that we have learned over the last year or more. You know, what has gone to the wayside? What has actually stayed throughout it? What has been loyal? How have you been loyal to yourself and to others? Taking that forward now. It worked. There are certain things that work, and what came through this morning was not to chuck the baby out with the bathwater. Now, obviously, don't chuck babies anywhere, but not to get rid of everything that has occurred throughout this pandemic. You know, simple things like cleanliness and keeping our hands clean and hygiene doesn't require a pandemic to be necessary. Looking after our health, taking time out, only traveling when we need to, only getting those things that we actually need in life, caring for our physical vessel. They don't need illness to be a necessity. They are a structured way of life. So whatever you discovered these last year or more, last years, taking that forward now as part of the foundation to this new reality. So with that quick drink of my tea, and we will look at the energies this week. It feels like a clean slate. That's what it really feels like. A chance to really look at what we thought we wanted, whether we still want it, where that actually came from, and then moving forward. So Aries is fire, and it is the ability to transmute through all things, including old opinions, old desires, old ambitions, transforming them. I wanted to say transformation and transmutation into a new word almost. We'll see what comes with that. So the energy this week, I can hear sit back and watch it happen. So I can clearly hear sit back, watch things start to slot into place. If we are manifesting and creating based on the old, yeah, just sit back and really look at what is going on. So the energies this week, the task at hand, that's what I hear, the task at hand. Okay, so 2 want to come out for today, so we'll leave it at that. Tuesday, Wednesday. 2 want to come out for Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, overall. Overall, the cards speak of balance. They speak of taking what we're trying to bring down, but also applying that to life in our physical steps. When something new occurs, when the door is open, when we are finally free after being what seems trapped for so long, we can rush out into old ways and old patterns that in truth didn't serve us back then. And we have been gifted a chance to reflect on these, to take time out, to address our needs, to keep that balance, boundaries, whatever you want to call it. Don't forget those this week. The energy feels a little bit jumbled. Don't forget what worked for you. Don't forget to keep everything in balance this week. So I know a lot of people pre-corona were becoming very overworked, and in the period of lockdown, they had a chance to re-establish their own flow. What I see is the doors being open and that almost being forgotten, or the potential of it to be forgotten. So just keeping that balance. not letting good habits die, hand washing, time out, looking after your body. Really keeping those foundations and taking them forward this week. On the Monday, today is the Sun card and the Seven of Wands. And what I feel here, what I hear here is to defend our light, to really stand in our light. Let that be our social bubble, knowing that when we are in our own divinity, when we are in our own higher self energy, we are protected. So I really feel that now. I don't know about anyone else, but this week in particular, it has seemed as though there was a lot of transformation with denser energies this week, and almost a going backwards to duality, to light and dark, to separation, which can be a necessary part of the journey. In an ideal world, everything is one. In an ideal world, we are completely united. There is no good, there is no bad, there is no judgment, there is no light, there is no dark. But in order to see the whole picture, sometimes it is the separation and the division that allows us to see that all is related. Okay, so sometimes that balance, sometimes we need to feel exhausted in order to rest. Okay, and this week in particular, it's almost bringing all those lessons together now and being grateful for the division that has allowed us to see that as part of the unity too. Division is part of the whole as well. Okay, the moment we look at something, the moment we give it a form, a label, a image, a resonance within us, the moment we see something, it triggers us to know that it is out there, that we are divided, that we are separate. The journey then begins to reunite with that. So this week in particular, being aware of the differences, knowing they are of the one, but also being aware of the differences. What works for one doesn't always work for another. It doesn't mean they're not part of the whole. So you may find people that are rushing out the door, that are so happy to be free, and, you know, everything goes back to the way that it was. And you may find others who, for them, myself included, life will never be the same. It will never be what it was. And we're all going to be different. So be kind with that. Be kind with those that still want to cocoon themselves in their old beliefs or their old mentalities or their old actions. Be kind with that, because if anything, it is those people that are showing us how far we have come, and vice versa. They are still part of the whole. Stand in your own light on Monday. Let this guide you. Let this be your truth. That's what I hear. Let this be your truth, and be at peace with that and the protection that comes from that. We don't need to defend who we are unless we feel attacked. So if we stop attacking, we can go round and round and round and say that there should be freedom of speech. And then when someone says something that we don't agree with, or they don't agree with us, and then that freedom of speech stops, and it just gets this big tangled mess of defensiveness. Whether someone's light resonates with you or not, in truth, is none of your business. It is their light. Concentrate on your own today. On the Tuesday, great opportunity to then take that forward. So even though the new moon in Aries is today, on the Monday in the UK, I think at about 2 o'clock in the morning, it feels like the impact of that doesn't come into play until later in the week. So on the Tuesday, what I hear is, if we are so busy getting caught up in the actions of others, how can we begin a new journey for ourselves? So today, standing in your own light leads to Tuesday, owning your own decisions. Now that is the game changer. No longer are we a pawn in the game. We then take our move. We then move forward on the Tuesday. With those structures, those foundations that we have built over however long, if we don't want things to stay the same, stop acting the same. Really look at what triggers us and why before we start creating with that. So this weekend I was so tempted to do videos and guidance and things like that was coming through about the divided energy and everything else. And it's like, just let it be. Just let it be. It's still part of the whole. It's still part of the whole. So on the Wednesday, the wheel of fortune, standing in our own light on the Monday, owning our own decisions, making our own moves, playing our own game, knowing it is part of the whole is what will actually make those changes on the Wednesday. You can see there she's got the dice. Yeah, she is her own game changer. She's dark and light, unified. And all the changes that have occurred is what is helping her move forward now. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday, it feels like losing track of time almost because I couldn't quite work out where I was. And actually on Thursday, we have two cards again. So on the Monday and the Thursday, it feels like a double whammy of energy. It feels like they are the days where we may very well have the biggest changes or potential sparks to change. Looking at what triggers us. Looking at how we stand in our light in these actions, in these occurrences, because on the Thursday, 8 of Wands and the Fool, really fast energy on the Thursday, really being able to bring whatever comes up today on the Monday, provided we stand in our light, provided we have our structure, provided we are willing to change ourselves as well. On the Thursday, everything has the potential to slot into place and a new journey to truly begin. On the Friday, the Hanged Man, we have a week of some big major arcana, some, I hear, planetary shifts, yeah, some massive changes here. On the Friday, the Hanged Man, seeing things from a different perspective now. Doesn't feel like I want to add anything to that, just seeing things from a different perspective. I can feel the power that that would have in our lives individually and collectively for all of us. You know, if we, so for argument's sake, I'm very much into unity, very much into non-division, very much into things becoming whole. So what if I started to see things from a divided perspective? That would be different for me. That would be different for me. So maybe this week, just having a look at how you do see things and how your life might change if you decided to see it from a different angle. On the Saturday victory, 6 of Wands, and here we step into that limelight that we found on the Monday. Here we realize that it is only by being who we are here to be that we truly shine. Standing in our own spotlight, looking at our own judgments, our own beliefs, our own triggers, our own actions, our own views, really putting ourselves under scrutiny this week, but doing so from a full energy. Lighten up with yourself. We are human. We are here living a physical experience. We mess up or not, as the case may be. Again, that is a judgment. Just really looking at yourself through the eyes of the Creator, whatever that may be for you, with the unconditional love of knowing that we're growing, we continue to grow, and light does just that. Be the light and continue to grow. Because on the Sunday, we have the Moon card. That's funny. I just had an alarm come up for a writing course. On the Sunday, we have the Moon card, but it's actually reversed. Now, what I see here is, even though it may feel like we are submerged, this isn't the case. We have almost When we become distracted by the energies of another, by whatever is going on around us, by our outside environment, we then don't have to look at our own. That's what I really hear. So when we can become almost engulfed with what is happening in the collective and the psyche, then we don't have to see our own individual impact. Really, really looking at that illusion this week, because our individual impact is part of the collective. So unless we look at our own, how can we look at someone else's or others? Okay, so really seeing everything as a mirror this week in particular, as that balance that it brings us. So some major arcanas this week: the Sun, the Emperor, the Wheel, the Fool, and the Hanged Man, and the Moon. So the majority of this week is major arcanas. The majority of this week is influences outside of us. Now that doesn't mean that we have no control. That doesn't mean that we cannot make the most of these energies. If anything, really looking at almost the belief that influences outside of us have the control. Yeah, if things outside of us are a mirror, then we are a mirror for things outside of us also. So really delving deep into that this week and realizing that the light we wish to see has to come from within in order to be reflected back in the eyes and the actions of others. That's how we change the game this week, seeing things from a completely different perspective, turning the illusion basically on its head, noticing the cycle, what we have learned, what we have discovered, taking that forward now without, I can see, now I'm vegetarian and there's no judgment on those that aren't, but also I respect that same energy back. There's no judgment on this analogy I'm about to share, but I can almost see a picking of bones, trying to find the last scraps of meat that are left on bones, and it isn't necessary. It isn't necessary anymore. It is about taking that forward, not waiting for things to be completely perfect, but knowing they are perfect in this moment and taking that forward now, knowing that the next steps is what will bring the growth we are looking for. The next almost initiation, the next stage. I don't want to say the next wave. The next stage, the next wave is what will bring the next step of growth. So the minor arcanas that we have, there are 3 wands and 1 pentacle. Moving forward is going to take grounding this week. It is going to take planting new seeds. It is going to take an end of the old, once and for all, which comes from balance, which comes from letting go of the defensiveness, allowing things to come together how they need to come together, and turning that spotlight on ourselves and looking at our own role within it. So, with that in mind, I'm going to look at Osho's Zen Tarot. That was the Light Seers Tarot. I'm going to look at Osho's Zen Tarot for how to best navigate the energy this week. So if this is what is coming up, how do we best navigate it? And I've actually put the cards away that suggested the energy that was coming up, which kind of for me feels like just forget about it. Just forget about it and open up, because I can really feel my crown chakra trying to stretch, trying to open up. Stepping into your higher self. What would your higher self do if we weren't acting from a place of defensiveness, if we weren't acting from a place of judgment, if we weren't acting from a place of the past, if we grounded and centered our body and really connected to the vastness and light that we are, what would our action be then? What would our reaction be then? Okay. So, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Even these cards, Thursday, the energy's a bit. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, overall. So it's really nice to see, even using different packs, synchronicities that can come out of both packs. So overall, for the almost universal energy this week, we had the Two of Pentacles. For the individual energy this week, we have the Two of Swords, which is friendliness. I actually had to pause the video then because my blind cat wanted to come out. So overall, for the individual, Two of Swords, friendliness, knowing that we are all trees in the one forest and that we stand together united but individually. Now that means that each person is entitled to their own belief, their own views and their own judgments and how they create with that. Okay, we can still be friendly. We can agree to disagree on many, many things, and that's okay. Okay, that's what makes that forest so colourful. On the Monday, I hear say something about the cat. Well, my cat is old. He's stuck in his ways. He's blind, but he's slowly establishing a new way of being, and we all are slowly but surely finding a new reality for ourselves. So have compassion with each other, have compassion with yourself, lighten up a little bit. So on the Monday today, the energy for today is trust. That free-falling energy, this is what we learned in lockdown, did we not? We learned to trust. We learned to be open to the flow of creativity, to be open to the flow of source, and we trusted. Don't lose that this week because the doors are suddenly open, because the emphasis, the spotlight is on us as humans and how we react. Don't lose that. Okay, we are still guided, we are still connected, we are still able to flow through life. Just because the pace is picked up doesn't mean we've lost our ability to sail it. Trust that. Trust where you've been these last year and a half. On the Tuesday, the Hermit, aloneness. I don't know if you can see that. So this week, universally, Monday was very much about standing in our own light, and Tuesday was very much about owning that and using our foundations to move forward. Tuesday, individually, go within. Does this resonate with you anymore? Is this a story you need to keep putting chapters to, or is it done? Why are you reacting? Go within and find that light within you. Place that spotlight on yourself. You've done this journey. Yeah, the Hermit is very much about the journey that has been done and the ability to take those tools forward as a light for themselves and for others. You've done this journey. Look at where your energy is going on the Tuesday, what it is feeding into. On the Wednesday, the Magician. So again, really powerful cards here. If we can almost bring all aspects of ourselves into the one. We can talk about unity outside of ourselves. We can talk about the divide outside of ourselves. But unless we look at why we are reacting and our own triggers and accept them as part of the whole, we're divided within. My cat agrees totally. just had to pause again. I've just let my cat outside, which feels really relevant for the Tuesday's energy. If it all gets too much, if you're not sure, think outside the box. Think outside of what you're seeing in front of you. By going within, really going within. Why is this happening? Why am I seeing this? Why am I feeling this? Because like I say, on the Wednesday, getting out of the limits and lockdown that we've placed on ourselves and how we see existence is the true magic. That's how we're going to end up moving forward. Okay, seeing ourselves as the source of what we create and integrating that, because ironically, on the Thursday, when the energy was a little bit scatty and stuck together, we have temperance, we have integration. Bringing it all together now. Yeah, really taking everything that we've learned and applying it to life. And I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over and over and over. And I am, you know, always. When we complete a circle, it is how we walk the path. It is what we share and what we take forward that becomes the reflection. It is time to, I'm just going to say it, grow up. Okay, it is time to stop feeding into the energies that we don't want to keep seeing and just allow those that do to get on with it, because that is their journey as well, unless it is directly affecting your life. And if it is directly affecting you or your life, why? Look at that. Look at why you are being triggered. Okay, so for a lot of it, we can think it's because I need to stand and say something and I need to da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Is that the case? Is that truly the case? So this weekend in particular, I will mention it briefly. It's like I've been holding space for a lot of different vibrational energies. And yes, at one point, many things, my end were blocked, my internet, my Facebook, my Instagram, many things were blocked. And I wanted to rant about it. It was more beneficial for the energy that I was holding and the things that were trying to be achieved to just get on with that. To just get on with what I've been asked to get on with, rather than drawing more attention to the aspects that I didn't want attention drawn to. So really looking at the fire that we're feeding this week, and is it helping the cause, whatever our cause may be? Is it helping it? Are we practicing what we preach, or are we going back into old energies, which is a waste of the energy that we are given to do what we are here to do? That felt really like on the Saturday. Okay, so I just realized that, when we get out of our heads, I've just realized that the overall energy is actually the Two of Cups, not the Two of Swords. When we get out of our heads, we can really connect to the emotional intuition of ourselves and source. This week, really get out of our heads, because on the Saturday we have the Four of Swords, and it's almost like seeing the world outside of us that we're trying to create, but it comes from within. It comes from within. Okay, how we react, what we do, how we act is all based on our internal emotions. It is really time to step into that emotional intelligence and maturity this week in particular, because on the Sunday, again, synchronistically, Six of Wands, success. Okay, it's like my cat just going outside. Success. Well, I see when I look at the Six of Wands, it is an old book that I remember reading, something about, it was related to tiger and trauma, and I can't remember the exact title of it. I'll try and find it and put it in the comments, but looking at why we are reacting the way we are, is it still coming from a place of trauma? And when I say still, there's no judgment there. There's no judgment there. It is more about really looking, are we in fight or flight? Are we reacting from a place of fear, from a place of trauma? You're really looking at that, because when I look at the tiger on this card, I see Kuan Yin. I see Kuan Yin and her tiger, and I see forgiveness for ourselves and for others. I see compassion for ourselves and for others. Ultimately, what we have been through in the last few years, we as a species in this current lifetime have never known it. And there have been things we have done positively and things maybe not so much, but we're a work in progress. All of us are a work in progress. Hold space for those that are struggling, yourself included, not by judging them, not by calling them out, not by pinpointing how different they are to your own opinions or the opinions of others or the world you're trying to achieve. That's almost feeding the same fire. Hold space. If we do not want a world of division, it's time to stop seeing others as separate from us, and bring them into the one united space of compassion and forgiveness and love. So the major arcanas for our own actions are, in particular on the Tuesday and Wednesday, related to going within and questioning our own existence. This week in particular, really going within, looking at the paths that we have walked and what it is we are creating and how we are taking that forward. I've just seen Temperance, actually. It's been there all along. Obviously, we're a Temperance year, but integration, Temperance almost in the background. Really looking at how you're holding space this week. Looking at how you are helping others integrate themselves. Really looking at your role with this, really looking at your ability to help others birth their own divine existence and their own light. It may not be the same as yours. It may be completely different. It may trigger yours and make you question yours. It's still light. Light is light, whether it's dense or light, it's light. All things are light. Really integrating that within us this week and around us. Knowing that whatever happens is ultimately for our own growth. Growing up a little bit, being a bit more friendly to ourselves and to each other, trusting the flow that we have found over the last few years. Healing our own traumas by taking time out, keeping that balance, looking at the world we want to create and where we are, and making those steps towards it now. Is there anything else? So on the one pack, Ace of Swords, and on the other pack, Adventure. See this life for what it is. How it is an adventure to discover and learn, and how it isn't about knowing all the answers immediately. It is about the journey, not the destination, cliche as it sounds. When we realise that, we lighten up for ourselves and we take it a little bit easier on others that may to us appear as if they're going round and round and round, but for them it's their path and their journey. So we have 1, 2 cup cards, 1 sword card, 1, 2 wand cards. I hear the 5th element. That's what I hear. I really hear the words the 5th element now. Okay, so really seeing things from that higher perspective, that shamanic view, not just what we see, not just what we hear. Today I decided not to wear my headphones. I really wanted to hear, not just what we see, not just what we hear, not just what we taste, not just how we feel, really taking it further to the next level. How does that create the whole picture? How do our senses create the whole picture? 2 cup cards, what we give out, we get back. 2 wand cards. In order to move forward, we must let go of the things that are stopping us from doing that. And 1 sword card. Who are you? What is your connection, your spiritual connection, your higher connection? Really stand in that this week. I was going to say today, but this week in particular, your light here. Don't be distracted. Keep going. Keep going. Take care. Have a wonderful week. Bye.